A mantra from Kena Upanishad, or Kena Upanishad, the first one in the second chapter. It is one of the very ancient and basic Upanishads, one of the major ones, without which you cannot do, I think. Our Guru commented on it in writing also, and many times in programs, in classes. So this one is here. Om yadi manyase suvedeti, yadi manyase suvedeti, dabramevapi nunam tvam, dabramevapi nunam tvam, Vetha brahmano rupam, Vetha brahmano rupam, Yadasya tvam, Yadasya deveshu, Yadasya tvam, Yadasya deveshu, Athanumi mansyamevate, Athanumi mansyamevate, manye viditam, manye viditam. As you can see, it is not exactly a verse, but we chant it. Anyhow, it has a rhythm. I'll show again. Yadi manyase suvedeti, Yadi manyase suvedeti, dabramevapi nunam tvam, dabramevapi nunam tvam, vetha brahmano rupam, vetha brahmano rupam, yadasya tvam, Yadasya deveshu, Yadasya tvam, Yadasya deveshu, Athanumi mansyamevate, Athanumi mansyamevate, manye viditam, manye viditam. And one more time, let's try together. Yadi manyase suvedeti, dabramevapi nunam tvam, vetha brahmano rupam, yadasya tvam, yadasya deveshu, athanumi mansyamevate, manye viditam. The teacher is speaking to the student. This is following the first chapter of Kena Upanishad, which is about Brahman, which we call the Absolute, the Supreme Consciousness, existence, Absolute I Am. It is impossible to know it by the senses and the thinking mind. It was describing in the first chapter, it is that which is behind your every perception, behind your thinking, which makes it possible, enables it, but it is not the perception or the thinking or the doer and thinker. It is something infinitely more subtle than that. And it is not what people worship generally as God, because it is behind that also, within and behind and above, beyond and within everything. So now the teacher says to the student, yadi, yadi if, manyase, manyase, you think, you feel, you think, suvedeti, suvedeti, there's a sandhi, a joining of letters that happened. Suveda iti, suveda iti, it becomes suvedeti, suvedeti. Sandhi happens in the sound. It is, the writing is following the sound, so you can easily feel it and get it by doing the sound. Suveda iti, suveda iti, suvedeti, suvedeti. Suveda means I know it well. Now I got it. Now I got it. The teacher speaks to the student who might be sitting there thinking, oh, I got it now. Suveda iti, which is the natural process. You have to get it eventually, step by step by step. Iti means thus. It is the quotation marks around his thought. Suveda, I know it well. Su means well. Suveda, I know it well. Thus, if you are thinking thus, well, dabrameva, dabrameva, eva api made eva api. Dabram, eva, indeed, very little, hardly anything. Api also. Nunam tvam. Nunam is another emphasizer. It is so, certainly, definitely, very little only do you know. Tvam, veta. So this tvam, you, veta, they go together. You know very little. Maybe you know something, but brahmano rupam, which is brahmana rupam, the form of Brahman, of that Absolute. You know it in a very small way only. That is a shock. Why should the teacher talk like that? Unless it is so, right? If you think I know it well, in that case, certainly, Nunam, you know very little about the true form, Rupam, of that Brahman. How come? Yat asya tvam. And it all goes with viditam now. It goes both with Rupam and viditam, you might say. That form of Brahman and that knowledge of yours, asya, of this reality, supreme consciousness, Brahman, asya, of this. Tvam is like tvayi, that form which you know and which is in you, yet asya deveshu, and that which is in devas, the light forces, the senses, often equated to the senses in the individual. They bring light into our being. And even when you imagine gods in heavens, devas means all that. And even in the enlightened ones, still, the absolute supreme existence cannot be contained in any of these levels, not in the senses, not in the mind. Atanu mimansyame vate manye viditam. Ata, now, indeed, te viditam, your knowledge, which is such through the senses, through the mind, even higher senses, it is mimansyameva, indeed it is to be inquired and questioned further. Manye, this is what I feel. Teacher says, if you think such and such, I think this. I will try to give more literal meaning again. If you think, I know it well, certainly you know the true form of Brahman in a very small way. Very little do you know. That form and that knowledge of Brahman, which is in you, which is in your senses, comes through the senses. I feel, indeed, it is questionable still. It needs to be explored further, this knowledge of yours, viditam. I can read a little bit free translation by our Guru from the early years of his teaching. So the teacher says, if you think you have understood Brahman well, you know it very little. Whatever form of Brahman you see in your perceptual mechanism, in your individual self, and in the universe around you, is indeed conditioned and therefore very limited in its reality. Therefore, your knowledge is indeed questionable, and you should make further inquiry into the ultimate form of Brahman. Which is a good suggestion for any of us. Yes, it here is about Brahman, which by definition cannot be known. It's said that already in so many words, and all these scriptures and teachings are talking the same way. You can have suggestion, the most beautiful, the most sublime, the most subtle, that is imaginable, but then you have to go beyond your imagination also, beyond anything experienced in the past, because it will be new territory. The knower has to disappear into that, and that is a process beyond language, naturally. So here, if it is helpful, apply it to yourself, and then if you can apply it to that highest knowledge, then you realize it is like that many times in daily life also. We think we know, and next moment we find out we didn't know. Times like these that we're going through on the whole planet, it is happening all over the place. Good to know that is an ancient condition. That doesn't mean we should not make all efforts to be clear. And it starts with being more clear about our own highest self, which is that Brahman, the I Am. The individual I Am and the supreme I Am ultimately are one. So start anywhere, but include meditation, and that further research and exploration, mimansyamevate manya viditam, will come through study and meditation and application. Your 24 hours will be very busy. Always there is some application of the teachings, and always there is further experience by further exploration. So never to stop. It is well known that people after like a weekend course, they got it. They paid something and they feel they got it. I'm not making fun. It's human nature. It is human nature. But some knowledges are whole life, and then next life you continue. Knowledges or knowledge of the higher reality. Let us chant it again. Yadi man yase suvedeti, yadi man yase suvedeti, dabrameva pinunam tvam, dabrameva pinunam tvam, vetha brahmano rupam, vetha brahmano rupam, yadasya tvam, yadasya deveshu, yadasya tvam, yadasya deveshu, athanumi mansyamevate, athanumi mansyamevate, manye viditam, manye viditam. There are many styles of chanting, naturally, but it's good to try to get one. Yadi manyase, there is a natural rhythm, even if it is prose. Yadi manyase suvedeti, Dabrame vapi nunam tvam veta brahmano rupam. Yadasya tvam yadasya deveshu atanu mi mansyamevate manye viritam. There is a couple of words that you can see as similar. Manyase is similar actually to mi mansyam also, and then manye. Man is to think, to consider, to reflect also. Mi mans is a derivation from that without going too much into the grammar. It means very deep thinking and inquiry and questioning everything, not the highest, but all our own senses and mind. Sometimes we have to question our thinking. When the mind is too sure about something, yourself, your inner consciousness should be a little careful. That's what the teacher is saying here. So man is there. Then there's vid. The root vid has entered into suveda. With or without the su. Veda means I know here. I know. Veta goes with tvam, means you know. And that's viditam, one more. Viditam is that which is known to you. That which is known, knowledge, therefore. Chant again. Yadi manyase suvedeti dabrameva pinunam tvam veta brahmano rupam yadasya tvam yadasya deveshu atanumi mansyamevate manye viditam. So where does it leave you? It simply admonishes us. The teacher is telling us, continue your inquiry. There's always more, higher, up to the point of, you see, this mimansyam, how long it should be continued, up to the point of omniscience, omnipresence, omnipotence, which are the descriptions of the cosmic consciousness. Beyond the cosmos, there is the source and the ultimate goal, that is Brahman. It is in the universe and it is beyond the universe. So there'll always be further to go. Sometimes they say the most dangerous thing is complacency. Oh, I know everything and nobody else knows anything. That makes problems in the world for yourself and for others. So this good therapy mantra. Yadi manyase suvedeti dabrameva pinunam tvam veta brahmano rupam yadasya tvam yadasya deveshu atanumi mansyamevate manye viditam. Yadi manyase suvedeti dabrameva pinunam tvam veta brahmano rupam yadasya tvam yadasya deveshu atanumi mansyamevate manye viditam. Om Shanti.